Narcissist realizes they have lost. This is how their revenge begins. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another captivating episode. Picture this, a baby narcissist, initially as adorable as a puppy, yet influenced by indulgent parents or others who shower them with excessive praise, idolization, and pampering, a form of abuse that objectifies the child. Fast forward, and that cute puppy grows into an adult narcissist who perceives themselves as unparalleled, akin to a deity. Even in adulthood, they seek a partner to mold into their fantastical world. This cycle persists for decades until, suddenly, time slips away, and they find themselves lost in their illusions, donning a reality-blocking cap. Their perception becomes skewed, like a godly figure with a flowing white beard in classical paintings, until they eventually fade from the scene. That, my friends, encapsulates the narcissist's journey in under 2 minutes. Now let's delve into how narcissists handle frustration, a truly unique experience. Any slight inconvenience feels like a personal affront to them. Public frustration is akin to a humiliating spectacle, magnifying their discomfort. Their definition of frustration extends beyond mere disagreement. It encompasses setting boundaries, refusing their demands, or asserting independence. Your autonomy or dissent is perceived as deliberate harm, akin to torture in their eyes. Quite bizarre, isn't it? When frustration grips a narcissist, it's as if a hammer strikes their ego, setting off a storm of unease within. Faced with frustration, they'd recoil in fear, and this apprehension burgeons into a tangled web of stress and anxiety. As this emotional turmoil mounts, the narcissist sheds their usual defenses, teetering on the brink of a transformation, a state often likened to the edges of a border. In essence, when stress, anxiety, or frustration grip a narcissist, they may exhibit behaviors reminiscent of those with borderline personality traits. Tantrums, exaggerated emotional responses, and grappling with negative emotions like rage and envy may ensue. The pressure of frustration can push the narcissist further still. In severe instances, they may even exhibit traits akin to primary psychopathy, a stark contrast to how individuals with borderline personalities might manifest as secondary psychopaths. Both narcissists and those with borderline tendencies struggle to contend with frustration, often resorting to desperate measures to alleviate their discomfort. Whereas in a mentally sound individual, frustration might fuel assertive actions aimed at signaling discomfort and seeking to alter the situation. For a narcissist, aggression takes on a more external form, potentially escalating to verbal or physical violence, a phenomenon known as coercive snap. The narcissist's objective: to compel others to conform to their expectations, seamlessly integrating into the mental construct they've crafted. It's as though they demand others cease independent existence and assimilate into their subjective reality. Should you dare to resist or assert your autonomy, a narcissist may escalate to extreme measures, including violent outbursts. It's imperative to grasp that narcissists perceive frustration as an internal issue, often struggling to attribute it to external factors. Their difficulty lies in comprehending the autonomy of individuals and objects outside of themselves. To a narcissist, your existence is confined to the realm of their thoughts. They interact solely with their mental construct of you. When a narcissist experiences distress, they perceive it as originating internally, akin to an internal conflict. Thus, when provoked, their aggressive response aims to alleviate their own discomfort by molding you to fit the idealized image in their mind. Walking away proves futile because narcissists are fixated on their internal narrative. They dehumanize and objectify you, reducing you to a mere abstraction within their psyche. The frustration stems from the distorted image of you within their mind, assaulting them like a concealed adversary. For a narcissist, abandoning the situation is not an option. You remain entrenched within their thoughts. Unless they purge you from their mental landscape, resort to violence, or coerce you into compliance, the frustration persists. As previously mentioned, under extreme stress, narcissists may transition to a different state, known as a borderline self-state. In this state, they exhibit impulsivity and destructiveness, often culminating in explosive outbursts. These episodes are more accurately termed borderline rage rather than narcissistic rage. In the early hours, when a narcissist enters a cold, calculated state, it mirrors the traits of a classic psychopath. This state is marked by premeditation, ruthlessness, and a stark absence of empathy. Both the borderline and psychopathic states are steeped in fantasy, as narcissism represents a distorted defense mechanism. Reality becomes distorted, lending an air of fantasy to these distinct self-states. The psychopathic state within a narcissist can be genuinely chilling, reminiscent of extreme cases such as that of Chris Watts. It represents a frightening phase that follows a more covert stage, serving as a bridge between the borderline and psychopathic states. At times, individuals exhibiting certain behaviors may initially appear perfectly ordinary, only to undergo a sudden transformation. Instead of expressing anger or distress, they opt for diplomacy, compromise, and displays of kindness. They may even adopt a loving demeanor, embodying the ideal partner. However, beneath this facade of normalcy lie subtle indications of a darker nature, moments of heaviness, moodiness, and hints of cruelty. Sarcasm and bitterness may creep into their interactions, and while they seem resolute, they shy away from confronting challenges directly. They maintain an overly polite exterior, feigning civility and care, among other facades. Despite outward appearances, these individuals may harbor nefarious intentions, clandestinely plotting to inflict harm, whether physical or through career sabotage. The severity of their actions can traumatize their victims in ways that are difficult to overcome. These malevolent schemes are executed with cunning, leaving room for misunderstanding and confusion regarding their true motives. While the victim may believe they hold the upper hand, the insidious nature of these revenge plots eats away at them like a relentless parasite. Let's delve into another psychological state known as the borderline condition. This state manifests in two distinct forms. Firstly, there's the sudden and explosive variation, catching individuals off guard without prior warning. This type often characterizes narcissistic personalities who exhibit bursts of intense anger or tantrums. Conversely, the gradual build-up version involves a more insidious approach. Here, the narcissist deliberately provokes conflicts, seeking to shift blame onto their targets. This covert tactic is commonly employed by individuals with covert narcissism. In certain scenarios, individuals with inflated egos, feeling slighted or aggrieved, may begin plotting retaliation against those they perceive as adversaries. Such individuals excel at concealing their true intentions, pretending normalcy until they strike unexpectedly. This behavior mirrors the dynamics of conflicts between factions like Hamas and Israel. As a coping mechanism, these individuals deflect responsibility for their actions onto others, justifying their aggression or violence as necessary for survival. Their fixation on winning intensifies, and failure can trigger profound feelings of despair, leading to excessive substance use and detachment from reality. These individuals often resort to cruelty and manipulative tactics against those they hold close. Paradoxically, their proximity to someone can escalate their aggression, perceiving closeness as a threat. Some may escalate from verbal cruelty to physical harm, viewing others more as objects than as individuals. Particularly paranoid and vengeful individuals pose a heightened danger, resorting to stalking and harassment against those they resent or feel angered by. The pursuit of revenge taps into an ancient human impulse to retaliate against wrongdoing. While some argue it as a means to deter bad behavior, the approach to seeking retribution typically falls into one of three categories, often misinterpreted by those with inflated egos. The first approach, which seems sensible, focuses on restoring fairness. It's not merely about punishing the perpetrator, but also about reinstating a sense of safety and predictability for the victim. Such revenge prioritizes the victim's well-being over retribution. The aim is to ensure accountability for the wrongdoer, provide solace for the victim, and prompt societal acknowledgement. This form of revenge is constructive. However, like many psychological phenomena, there exists a less healthy variant. In some instances, it morphs into an obsession, consuming one's thoughts like a compulsive fixation. Without societal intervention, this vengeful fantasy can spiral into a personal vendetta, leading the individual to self-harm or harm others. Such revenge is detrimental to mental health in the long term, draining one's time and energy, particularly mentally. It disrupts other relationships, induces dysfunctionality, and ultimately drives individuals toward madness. In the realm of retribution lies a peculiar breed known as narcissistic revenge. For narcissists, retaliation isn't just about settling scores. It's a means of inflating their own sense of grandiosity and healing their wounded pride. This inclination peaks when they're faced with humiliation, an episode often termed the external solution. Picture this. You've been wronged, whether by a crime, mistreatment, or even a simple disagreement. To the narcissist, an individual averse to boundaries and autonomy, the narrative shifts swiftly. They internalize the role of the victim, drowning in a sea of self-doubt and self-loathing, feelings of inadequacy, foolishness, worthlessness, ignorance, and helplessness gnawing at their core. To quell this inner turmoil, they embark on a quest to assert dominance, akin to deities among mortals. "You're mistaken," they proclaim. "I am akin to a deity. I shall demonstrate by meting out punishment those who have wronged me." This genesis stems from a humiliating experience, a jarring clash with the narcissist's self-image as omnipotent, flawless, and impervious. By inflicting suffering upon those deemed perpetrators, the narcissist reclaims their sense of importance, resurrecting their exaggerated self-concept. In essence, when the narcissist exacts vengeance on those they perceive as adversaries, those who refuse submission, challenge their authority, or dare to embarrass them, they once again ascend to their distorted throne of omnipotence, assuming a godlike guise. If thoughts of revenge begin to swirl in your mind, or if you find yourself teetering on the brink of vengeful actions, pause for a moment of introspection. Ask yourself, are wounded pride, inflated self-importance, or narcissistic tendencies driving these impulses? If so, strive to disentangle the justified grievances from the toxic grip of your unhealthy narcissism. Direct your focus towards the former while sidestepping the latter. When gripped by anger or the pursuit of fairness, assess the trajectory of your vengeful musings. Are you skirting dangerously close to mirroring the traits of a narcissist or psychopath? Are your motives rooted in restoring balance and safeguarding others, or do they merely cater to your own cruel, narcissistic whims? More often than not, it's the latter scenario that holds sway. In instances of this ilk, the victim's primary aim is to restore equilibrium and assert their rights. In essence, they yearn to rewind the clock, resolving the conflict decisively and with confidence. "I simply desire a return to the status quo," they declare. "I long for a restoration of the peace we once knew." This approach serves as a means of coping with the anguish inflicted by another's deliberate transgressions. Measures such as restitution or amends serve as practical avenues for rectifying the harm done, an equitable form of recompense beneficial to all parties involved. Responses to harm typically fall into two camps: punitive righteousness or the pursuit of equitable resolutions. The former often manifests in individuals who prioritize their own self-interest and exude self-righteousness, while the latter is characteristic of emotionally healthy individuals. Thus lies the dichotomy between these two archetypes. If my tone has veered towards aggression, I extend an invitation for you to respond in any manner you see fit, whether through punitive measures, righteous indignation, or the pursuit of a fair and practical solution. The choice rests with you. Thank you so much for coming here. You are the reason why my channel exists. Like I said, you should subscribe to this channel and set the bell to go off if this is your first time here. Make sure you don't miss the next video we post. Let's start. Narcissists only care about themselves and nothing else. They will continue to care about your part in their lives as long as you're fulfilling a need and making their lives better. People who are narcissists will do anything to control you, no matter how small or hard the job is. Remember that narcissists want to take over the world and see you as a way to get there. You're just a trade that has to be made. In this video, we'll talk about the ways that narcissists get rid of people they see as a threat. We are going to focus on people today who are stubborn, hard to change their minds about, or who already have ideas about what they want in life. People who are sure of themselves are less likely to fall for narcissists' tricks. The way these people think and act has hit a certain level of maturity. Narcissists will think twice before trying to change these people's minds. People who are narcissists are cocky and can't see others for what they really are. Self-esteem, confidence, and a strong belief in one's own skills are all things that narcissists don't like in people. They're still after these people and trying to bring them down, though. Simply put, narcissists want to hurt everyone, no matter how hard or easy it is for them. If someone gets in the way of their power, a narcissist will do anything to get rid of them. Narcissists think they need to make other people feel less important in order to boost their own egos. They are going to keep trying to change our lives and wait for us to let our guard down. Even if we can keep up with their constant efforts, all they need is one good chance. They'll find a way to beat us, even if we're smart and determined. Love bombing, smear campaigns, and gaslighting are just a few of the many ways a narcissist will try to control other people. If flattery and charm don't work, they use guilt to get you to feel sorry for them and understand them. Nasty people don't care what other people think, so this is true. All they need is a place to start. Because of this, they will only see love, care, or pity as attention, no matter how strong it is. They'll use flattery and charm to try to make you feel bad for them. And it's clear that you're falling for their trick if you answer them. If love bombing doesn't work, they may try a different strategy to get us to do what they want. The most common one is making us feel bad for them. They would make up a bad reason not to do their job, so they wouldn't have to take blame. Some of them will even hurt themselves on purpose in other scenarios to make their plan work. They might say they need your help and have nowhere else to turn. They will keep saying the same things. I think you get it now. Narcissistic people often act weak when they are up against a strong opponent. In order to get you to trust them, they act weak and humble. They act weak and humble, and they make it impossible for you to disagree with them. If you do, you'll look self-centered. They want to destroy you slowly, so they get into every part of your life to make you more open to long-term threats. But if you decide to help them, they might throw you back into the ditch as a thank you. Once they've done it, they probably won't feel bad about it. So always keep an eye out. Narcissists will tell you lies like they love you or are victims to get you to believe them. They feel great about themselves when they put down someone with strong beliefs like you, because it makes them think that they are stronger and better than you. They'd stab you in the back and then kick you out as soon as they had enough information from you. They only have one more way to bring you to your knees if that wasn't enough. The way these people treat you makes it seem like they want to learn from you. Even though narcissists can't do anything, they still have a few choices. Because you had a strong mind, they couldn't figure out your flaws or secrets. In other words, they might pick to focus on people close to you as a second choice. Someone who is a narcissist would lie about you to your friends in order to get into your life or learn more about you. Nasty people are naturally good at lying. Your family and friends will turn against you because of this effort to scare them. Because of what you're doing, people may grow to dislike you. They want other people's attention because they see you as an enemy,